Okay, so apparently I'm going to give another sermon again. I just wrote something about relating. I think relating is much cooler than we're giving it credit for. But guess what? Relating seems to be going out of style. And so I wrote a piece on rhetorical fallacies and rhetorical arguments because what I'm noticing as someone who cares a lot about community care, about protecting people from harm, about supporting people that might need help because they're different or they come from a different place or they look differently, about repairing things that we've done and caused harm in the past. All these things are really important to me. But what I'm noticing is that it's really in vogue and seen as almost righteous to not relate, but instead to shame each other by calling each other libtard snowflakes or white fragile snowflakes or white supremacists. These words are words of dehumanization. And yesterday I engaged with a therapist who was using this language with me, believing that it was protecting people from harm. The reason why I'm making this video is 10 years ago, I started listening on a sidewalk because I had this question in my mind. Does this kind of rhetoric and approaching humans in this way protect people from harm? And what I found is no, it does not. That every time humans stop relating and start dehumanizing, we create some bad thing in our society, right? Somebody gets a bunch of power and a bunch of people lose power. And this has happened for thousands of years. And so it may seem really simple, this thing that I do, listening on the sidewalk. It may seem like this kind of pat everybody on the head and let's all just get along and pretend that there's no problems in our society and sweep it all under the carpet. But it's quite the opposite. Okay. And I speak up whenever I see somebody using rhetoric instead of relating, because I think what's actually happening is that they are consolidating their own power, even if they think that their cause is virtuous. I see it as a consolidation of their power. And it concerns me because I'm serious about wanting to protect people from harm and care about people. And I see that rhetoric creates harm, period. Relating and rehumanizing each other creates the world that we want to see. Because when we relate to each other with compassion, with grace, we actually can show up and take responsibility for our bullshit, for the things that we need to take responsibility for from the past. When we use rhetoric and name calling and shame and finger wagging, that, I believe, puts people in harm's way even more. And so it may seem that listening on sidewalks is not that radical. It's really effing radical. And I'm so damn serious about it. If there's one thing that I am serious about, it's about humans learning to relate to one another. And the reason why we do one-sided listening is because oftentimes, not always, it is folks that have some rank or privilege. And we want to listen to stories of people that are different than us, that come from a different part of the world than us. That's why we do bus tours, because we get to meet people from different parts of the US than us and center somebody else besides ourselves. So it isn't the only part of relating listening, but it's a start. However, when I see somebody from my own therapist camp engaging in shame-based rhetoric, I have to call it out because it does not create safety. It does not protect humans from harm. And it is a consolidation of power through dehumanization. And I hope it stops. And just to finish, you can go read my article. I put it on Substack. I want to say that it is not oppressive to want to be related to. It doesn't mean you're a bleeding heart that you want to care and protect people. It's not supremacist to want nuance and mutuality, and it's not fragile to ask for compassion. That is what we're doing here. We're relearning those skills, and I'm darn excited about it. Thanks for listening to my little sermon.